the basic principles of spirituality. My name is Sherry Vanterhug, psychic medium and spiritual teacher. The word spirituality is quite often misunderstood. Living in a three-dimensional world, our earth plane, our physical realm, as it's often referred to, the concept of spirit, spiritual beings, or even a spiritual world is so often denied and overlooked. For most of us, our way of living and our way of determining what is real and what isn't is perceived through what we know to be the 5 senses, the 5 components that make us perceive this world as three-dimensional. The visions we see, the things we feel and touch, the sounds we can hear, the aromas and fragrances that we smell, and the flavours we taste. We are literally taught that we only have 5 senses, with little focus, education or thought given to the 6th sense. The 6th sense is such a vital and important part of our reality on this planet. The 6th sense includes 6 main abilities, and you can learn about these abilities that we all possess in my CD, The 6 Stages of Perception. Perceiving through our 6th sense is used by everyone, but not all of us understand it or even know that we are in fact using it to determine how we feel about many things. We use our 5 senses without even thinking about it. We take for granted the fact that we can see, touch, taste, hear and smell. Can you imagine if one of our finely tuned senses that we take for granted was suddenly taken away from us? We would probably then have to rely heavily upon the remaining 4 senses to determine our reality. Our 4 remaining senses would certainly become more of a focus for us. For example, if we lost our hearing, we would then have to rely on our sight to understand, interpret, and determine what people were trying to say to us. We may have to learn to lip read. We also may come to the conclusion that we needed to feel what people were trying to say to us. As we would be unable to hear the tone of a person's voice, we may be more inclined to assess their body language, such as facial expressions, and so on, to determine what they were trying to communicate with us. I am using this to exemplify the fact that we have the ability to sense through our feelings. Our feelings are so often overlooked. And you know what? Your feelings are the language of your soul. When you think about it, you can't really see a feeling. Feelings are something that are often hidden within us, and it's really up to us to express how we feel. Ultimately, it is only us who can really understand what we are feeling. And once again, I'm using this analogy of feeling as something we cannot see. That is, until we look a little deeper. Our main focus has been through only the 5 senses. And we really aren't certain that there's anything else that lies beyond the 5 senses. How can we be certain of anything that we can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell? When we were very young and impressionable, we were taught a set of belief systems through the guidance and behaviours and beliefs of others, being our parents, our family, our teachers, friends, and basically all of the people that we've spent our lifetime with. All children are born knowing, and all are automatically open and receptive to the realm of spirit. As children, our 6th sense and clairvoyant abilities were working freely and naturally. We were able to see into the spirit world, beyond the physical realms and into the realms of spirit, where we saw our passed over relatives, family members, and guardian angels. This was with us the moment we were born, and as we grew into a toddler and expressed what we saw and felt, we were taught and told that it wasn't real. We were just seeing things. It's not there. It's only a figment of your imagination. And the once thriving 6th sense that we knew so well is sent into a state of panic and confusion. Well, if I can see it, but it isn't real, then it must not be there. Now, how confusing is that for young children? Consequently, what follows is a state of confusion, and that begins to shut down the 3rd eye. The 3rd eye is only one aspect of our 6th sense. It's our clairvoyant ability. It's instinct that when we are confused, we seem to grab the 3rd eye point in between our fingers with our head bowed down, I'm confused. No wonder, because the third eye is blocked. And we have frustration. When it is open, we have clear perception or clear seeing. So naturally, for the child, an enormous sense of fear can develop by being told that what we see is not real. I can see these things and you're telling me that they're not there? Now that is very confusing. Our natural senses become quashed. Although contrary to our instinctive beliefs, we are taught that they're just not real. By being aware of this example, you can probably understand why we as human beings fear the unknown and what's next in life, and why the world of spirit, or the word spirituality, is often misunderstood. The following statement would have to be the most validating and profound set of words to define the basic principles of spirituality. I've searched long and hard to find this statement that in a nutshell describes what spiritual people understand and live by. Spiritualism is a way of life. It combines philosophy, science, and religion. It combines a very wide field. Therefore, we cannot expect to understand it without a certain amount of study. Spiritualists understand and believe in 7 main principles. These are the 7 principles of spirituality. 1. A divine intelligence recognized as God or the universe. 2. The unity of all life. 3. Divine guidance and inspiration available to every soul. 4. The continuity of every soul. 5. Personal responsibility for all thoughts, words, and deeds. 6. All of our actions create our environment in this life and the next. And 7. Eternal progress open to every soul. Let's go into further detail, looking at principle number 1, a divine intelligence recognized as God, or if you like, the universe. The core belief of this religious philosophy of spiritualism is the acceptance of a divine energy. And basically, this is what it's all about. This force, no matter what name you give to it, sustains all of creation. I love the word divine. I don't think many people understand its true meaning. In the dictionary, it means belonging to or having the nature of God, holy, sacred, or heavenly. So this means that spiritual people understand that God is a sacred intelligence and an intelligence that is greater than ours, of which we are a part, and subsequently also of the universe. We understand that this intelligence is expansive, infinite in nature, and all-encompassing, which includes all beings and all of creation. Basically, the universe. This greatly contrasts with the current concept of many religions worshipping many different gods with many different rules. This often separates and divides us rather than focuses on a divine unity. William Lee Rand quotes, "Uniting global spiritual consciousness is the next step in creating world peace." As we delve into principle number 1, a divine intelligence recognized as God, let's take a look at religion. Most people, when they talk about religion, have a concept of heaven being a place that we go to after we pass over, as long as we've been good and done all the right things on the earth plane, etc., etc. Truly, if this was the case, I think that heaven would be a very lonely place. The heavenly realms, or the spirit world, does not divide and separate us in accordance to what faith we decide to follow while we're here on earth, or neither by the way we act in our lives. In the universe, in the vastness of space, there are no books on the shelf written about God. Instead, there is a magical and mystical universal energy that we can only barely begin to understand from this limited human perspective. Often religious groups have a better than attitude because they are convinced that they are going to be saved. Yes, follow a religion if it makes you happy, but we must know that when it is our time to pass, we are all equal with all other souls. All religious and spiritual groups must honour and respect one another through the understanding that each person does have the right to practice and follow the religious or spiritual path that they choose. As the saying goes, as long as no harm shall be done, do as thy will. Instead, we create war. Spiritual people do not tend to label themselves with particular names that will divide and separate them into groups. Their group is the whole, the sum and the total of all that exists, meaning all of humanity and all of creation. Therefore, there can only be one group and essentially one truth. Principle number 2, the unity of all life, is simply that we understand and connect with the realization that everything in this life and beyond is interconnected and interwoven. Unity meaning the significant oneness of all of creation in its many different forms. And that is all we really desire, for the unity of all life. It is as simple as it sounds. The unity of all life and all living in harmony. Some people will spend their lifetime serving as an instrument of God and a messenger of God, with this as their message: all life is one. Can you actually imagine if we as the human race were actually to connect with this profound truth and try to live in harmony and unity with each other? How different would the face of our planet be? How wonderful would our existence be? Can we do this? I believe so. Many people are turning inward towards spirituality, and I believe that eventually, for us to live the life that was intended for us on this amazing planet, we must look to our spiritual existence. We can no longer live a life ignorant of the power and the undeniable existence of our eternal light and our soul. And we can no longer live a life ignorant of our connections to all that exists. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we are part of life in this world and life beyond. We are part of creation. Principle number 3. Divine guidance and inspiration available to every soul. Here comes that word divine again. If I walked into a crowded place and asked random people if they were being divinely guided, what do you think they would say to me? They would probably suggest that I was preaching and to get my nose out of their business. Yet these words have significant meaning, because here on earth we have divine guidance given to us from the minute we are born to the time we pass. It is so. Our guardian angels serve to guide us from the heavenly realms through the many senses of our intuition. Without exception, each person benefits from divine guidance. Although this is often overlooked as just a feeling that we're getting, or just an inspiration. When there is a calling for it, we also have divine intervention. Inspiration is an arousal of ideas that produces emotion within us. To me, inspiration is the most wonderful and joyful feeling that can keep us going even when we feel like giving up. Inspiration and will go together. Your will to make the extraordinary happen can create a miracle if you really want it enough. The word inspiration means a supernatural divine influence that enables man to receive divine truth, or in other words, a special influence of divinity on the minds of human beings. Now that's quite a mouthful, isn't it? So rather than walking around and saying, I feel a supernatural influence that is enabling me to receive divine guidance today, we simply say, you know what, I feel really inspired. Your angels would love you to feel their influence each day. They revere in such activities as inspiring you to your highest potential. Even the complete cynics and skeptics among us have experienced a wonderful inspirational moment or two. What he or she doesn't realise is where it comes from. Inspiration will trigger or arouse a particular emotion within us that will guide us to take certain action or to do certain things. It is all divinely directed. It comes to us via a sudden intuition that can lead us to the right path, give us answers to our questions, help us resolve a problem, or help us achieve just about anything. Now, if you're human like me, you've experienced some very low points in your life. During these dark and somber times, there was an angel by your side, and there will always be an angel by your side insisting there is a spiritual solution to your problem, no matter how dire it may seem. When you came through your problem, it was your guardian angel who immersed you with thoughts and feelings of hope, bringing you a sense of direction, a new sense of direction, through what is called inspiration. Your angel impressed upon you the truth of the matter, eliminating the negative ego-based thoughts that previously clouded your perception. We are also very fortunate to have such divine guidance available to us. Ask and you shall receive. There is a saying that goes, when you feel down, reach upward instead. Principle number 4, the continuity of every soul. Our spirit or our soul is the part of us that can never be destroyed. It is part of the creative force and thus indestructible. Energy can simply not be destroyed, it can only change form. And after death of the physical body, what is left is the soul, and the soul continues to exist in a different dimension that we call the spirit world, or as I like to call it, the home of the eternal soul. Some religions believe that after this one lifetime that we are having, we go into the ground forever, to exist never again. Many people question life after death because they need evidence that slaps them in the face. The only problem with this is that those who are skeptical are more likely not to have a direct experience because they've already made up their mind that it's a load of rubbish. Skeptical people place a barrier around themselves that lowers their vibration to spirit, disabling the connections to any spiritual experiences or revelations. They already know that it's not true because they've made up their minds. The funny truth of this matter is, no matter whether you believe in the spirit world or not, guardian angels and guides, etc., or a life beyond this, the truth will always remain, and it is the same regardless. Eventually, we will all understand this truth. Universal laws are universal laws, and truth is truth. It never changes. This reminds me of a wonderful message I received from a medium many years ago. She said it came from Archangel Michael. This will be a good one for the skeptics. His message to me was, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you don't mind. Principle number 5. Personal responsibility for all thoughts, words and deeds. Now we're getting into that touchy subject of reality creating. Mahatma Gandhi put it nicely when he quoted, "Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny." Each of us has had a different way of looking upon life, and we are free to do with our lives what we choose. We are responsible for the life we create along this journey. And we create our reality by causing it and allowing it. We have the ability to make decisions throughout our lives as we see fit. What each of us makes of our life is our personal responsibility. We need to understand that things are not just happening to us, and lessons are repeated until they are learnt and consolidated. Have you noticed how sometimes the same issues keep on coming up over and over again in our lives until we learn from that experience? How we treat ourselves and others carries with it a great responsibility, which brings us to the natural law of cause and effect and principle number 6. Principle number 6. All of one's actions create one's environment in this life and the next. The natural law of cause and effect operates now. As we move through life making choices, the outcome of those choices affects our soul growth. The words we speak, the thoughts we think, and the decisions that we make, and the actions we take shape our destiny. We often say, "This happened to us," or "They made me feel this way." However, we are responsible for the way we feel. The basis of everything is energy. Our thoughts are energy, our words are energy, and we are responsible for all of it. We have a choice as to how we act and react in all circumstances in life. So we need not blame others. We do have choices as to how we act, react, what we can think, and what comes out of our mouths. We need to take responsibility for those actions and reactions, as there are always consequences, not just in this life, but also in the next. We are also responsible for the way we feel and our emotions. We need to be open and honest about the way we're feeling and about the emotions that we are carrying within us. More detail on this intriguing subject is explained in my audio Lifetimes, The Wheel of Incarnation. Principle number 7. Eternal progress open to every soul means exactly that. Eternal progress is available for all souls, and progress is what the soul desires. The soul wants to become more of itself and to know more about itself. Each and every lifetime it wants to experience something new. Eternity does not begin at death. Progress is open to souls now, and any action that we take or any intent to change and promote our soul, our growth, and our progression along this path, our spiritual journey, creates a positive reaction in this life and the next. There will always be the opportunity to develop and move forward. No one is ever deprived, and we have so many lifetimes to get it right and to attain enlightenment. So the 7 principles of spirituality again are: 1. A divine intelligence recognized as God or the universe or creation. 2. The unity of all life, which means all living things. 3. Divine guidance and inspiration available to every soul. Our guardian angels are always with us. We are never alone. 4. The continuity of every soul. Life is eternal. And 5. Personal responsibility for all thoughts, words and deeds. We are the master of our own destiny. And 6. All of our actions create our environment in this life and the next. We are responsible for our lives and our souls. And we choose. 7. Eternal progress open to every soul. We are forever learning. We are forever growing and expanding as a soul. I hope that this audio has helped you gain a better insight and awareness into the basics of spirituality. As I stated at the very beginning of this audio, spirituality combines a very wide field, and the path to enlightenment and understanding universal truths can be a long journey. We are not taught these principles in life. In fact, we're probably taught not to believe in any of it. Spirituality is the process of discovery and self-discovery, and our soul has the final say as to the learning we choose and attain in each lifetime. Although we are spiritual beings, we are also the human in lesson.